purpose of this video is to explain how to use the TI84 calculator to compute basic statistics from lists of data. First thing I'm going to do is turn the calculator on, and then we'll use the Stat button. It's like a gateway to a lot of the statistical functions within the calculator. I hit Stat. You'll notice there's three menus: an Edit menu, and I can use the cursor keys over here to move. The second menu is the Calculate menu, and the third menu is the Test menu. We go back to the Edit menu and select the first entry. We get what looks like a small spreadsheet. The first column, List 1, is where I'm going to put the data. Now that I have all the data entered, I can get out of this screen by hitting Second and then Quit, or Second Mode, which is the Quit button. Now to calculate the statistics for this data, I hit the Stat button again. I'm going to cursor over to the Calculate column and select the first entry, 1var stats. I'm going to hit Enter twice. We'll talk about why that's twice shortly. So it computes for me. It gives me X bar, the sample mean, the total of the values, the total of the squares of the values, the sample standard deviation, the population standard deviation, and then the sample size, 9. And you'll notice there's a little arrow here. I can cursor down to my 5-number summary, which is the minimum, the first quartile, the median, which is also the second quartile, the third quartile, and the maximum. If I want to also compute statistics for the other list, I can go back to the Stat menu and hit Enter again to go back to my spreadsheet, and cursor over to the second column, List 2, and enter the values there. Okay, now that we have the data in the second list, we go back to Stat, Calculate, select that first entry again, but now we only hit it once, because what we have to do now is tell it that we want to use the second list for computing. So while it's waiting, I say second to, and that tells it to compute the statistics for the second list. And there they are: the mean for the second list, the total, the sum of the squares, the sample standard deviation, the population standard deviation, which we almost never use, the sample size, and then down to my 5-number summary, the minimum, the first quartile, the median, the third quartile, and the max. And then from there, we could compute things like the range, the max minus the min, or the interquartile range, Q3 minus Q1. So that's the basic use of the TI84 for statistics.